Hey VC, how's everybody doing? I'm Jack. Welcome to Vinyl Martini. Got a lot of records to show. We are going to show some more records that I bought in the Netherlands, specifically in Amsterdam and Leiden. Just got back from a camping trip. Yep, I still camp. We have a group of friends that camp up island, what we call Up Island. We were camping for a week, and during that week I managed to go golfing 3 times. Three beautiful golf courses, and I managed to crate dig as well. So I picked up another 15 records. Don't tell anybody, but that's for another show. And while I was up there, the ladies were doing some crafting, and I'll just show you what I got as a result. This is a little bracelet. I don't know if you can see what it says, but it says Vinyl Martini. So thank you, Leanne, for that. I will hold this dear to my heart. So anyways, I got lots of records to show you. Let's get started. Leiden is a town about 45 minutes to an hour south of Amsterdam. It's a university town. Beautiful city. We did a canal ride there, and after the canal ride, we went to a cafe for a cup of coffee, and while we were sitting there, I asked Jan, are there any record stores here? She pulled out her phone, and lo and behold, there was one about a 10-minute walk away from the cafe we're sitting in. I said, do you mind if we go down and have a look? And of course, my my ever-suffering wife said, sure, no problem. So she went out and sat on a bench by the canal in the sun, and I whipped in there and started going through the dollar bins. I didn't want to spend too much time because we were going back to Amsterdam and we had a train to catch. But anyways, I found some interesting things for €1. The Love and Spoonful Greatest Hits. And it is on Barclay Netherlands, BV. The Parade series, which is a cheapie series. I don't happen to have any Love and Spoonful records. They're always beat up. And I don't need to have all the material. I've got lots of John Sebastian records. I got about 3 or 4 of his solo records. But this lineup on this record is outstanding. Summer in the City, Daydream, Darling Be Home Soon, You Didn't Have to Be So Nice. Fantastic songs that came out when I was maybe in grade 7 or 8. Brings back fantastic memories of grade school. The Love and Spoonful. I don't know if I don't think I need another Love and Spoonful record after getting this record. So there you go. Next, Count Basie on Pablo Records. Pablo Records are so cheap and they're so well done. Pablo is a division of RCA Records. This is Count Basie called I Told You So, recorded in 1976. Produced by Norman Granz, who's a very, very famous promoter and producer of jazz in the New York area. Count Basie, they doesn't seem to get enough credit in the VC. Lots of bebop and post-bop, smaller bands, but it took a lot to take on a big band that Count Basie did and Duke Ellington did, and shuck them around the country, pay for their expenses, and try to make a few bucks. So Count Basie, looking forward to listening to this. Another record on Pablo. I am going to be pulling the shrink off. You can bet. Next up, Carla Bonoff, singer-songwriter, fantastic singer. Doesn't get enough credit, I don't think, in the vinyl community. This is on CBS. I think she was recording on CBS. Original liner sleeve in pretty good condition on the European CBS label. Carla Bonoff was friends with Linda Ronstadt. Linda recorded a number of her songs. I don't recognize any of these songs, but I know they're going to be good. She's just a quality artist. Next up, Ralph McTell. This is 1975 records. If you have been watching me in the last, the last year or so, I've been picking up lots of Ralph McTell records. He re-recorded his hit, The Streets of London, on this record. Dave Pegg's on here, Matty Pryor's on here. All these English folk singers from Fairport and Pentangle used to sort of have a little mafia thing happening. They used to play on each other's records. It's another Ralph McTell album I didn't have. Glad to have it. Haven't listened to it yet. And it is on the standard old Warner's label, the Wheel label, the Burbank label. Next up, this is a band called Sailor. I have two of their other records. This one was recorded in 1976. I have a friend that here in town, an English guy, and he's a little bit older than I, and he was a drummer in a band called Gringo. And they were a band from Somerset. They were a three-piece with a female singer. And my buddy, Mr. Shelfstacker, showed the Gringo album on one of his shows, and we had a little bit of correspondence back and forth because I wrote to him that I knew Simon, etc., etc. Well, another of the Gringo members was Henry Marsh, and Henry Marsh is a member of Sailor. Really funny band because they did not have a guitar in the band. They sort of did a cabaret style, very individualistic. They recorded in, I think, 1973, 74, 75. This is a 1976 record. And it was the type of band that, with the punk invasion, there was no room for a band like Sailor, but they're very interesting, great songwriters. Henry is a picture of Henry right here. Henry is playing the accordion, very talented guy. He plays piano, accordion, etc. About 6 or 7 different instruments. But I got this for Simon, not for Simon, I'm going to keep it myself, but just because I'm the only person that he's ever met that knows who Sailor is. So, Sailor. This is Ellen Foley, Night Out, and it is on Epic Records, Cleveland, and Ellen Foley had a hit with We Belong to the Night. But the only reason I bought it was because it was produced by Ian Hunter and Mick Ronson. They both played on it. Tom Mandel. I don't recognize any of the other players, but she's got a very husky voice. Not really something I would normally buy, but I bought it because of the Hunter and Ronson connection. 1979, Ellen Foley. I bought a Lena Lovitch record about a year and a half ago, and it was the first album I bought of hers, and I loved it. This is, I'm going to try Lena Lovitch called Flex, another Lena Lovitch record. It is kind of beat up, but the record is fine. It's on Stiff Records. She's really different. She's I don't know how to describe her. She's very unique. And this was recorded in, let me get the date here. It should put the dates in bigger letters, don't you think? 1979. Lena Lovitch, Flex. And lastly, I didn't get this. I went in the bins and I only had a couple of minutes to do it, but I found this Sir Doug Quintet record for €3, and I had to pick it up. It's on Golden Label. It's another cheapy label. I am a huge Sir Doug Quintet fan. Doug Somm, who led the band. There's a label there in beautiful condition. €3, I couldn't let it go. It's basically his early output. Some of it recorded in Austin in Houston, actually, by his manager Huey P. Mew at Sugar Hill. But it includes the album is called Mendocino. I know for a fact that he did not record Mendocino in Houston. He recorded that in either San Francisco or LA. If you don't know who Doug Somm is, maybe you should stream him. Tex-Mex, kind of country rock, rock and roll, folk music, fantastic guy. It's impossible to pigeonhole him. Very happy to get this. I don't normally buy collections like this, but I make an exception for somebody that I really admire. Next up, records from a record store called Record Friend. And this is in Newmarket in Amsterdam. Fantastic store that it's not the first time I've been in there. I was there in 2007, the last time I was in Amsterdam. And I just went through all their, I went through the cheapie bins. All these records I'm going to show you were €5 each. First up, City Boy. I bought a City Boy record in Barcelona, I think, either Granada or Barcelona. And I kept on running into this band, and I know that this was produced by, I think this was produced by Mutt Lange. I like the title. I like their name. I like the title of the album. It's called Heads Are Rolling. I know Steve from All the World's a Stage likes this band as well. British band. Don't know anything about them really. This is a 1980 release. Don't know if this is one of their great ones or not, but I'll find out. Next up, another blind buy, which I am prone to do. If you've watched my channel, you know that. Band called Interview, and this is Snakes and Lovers. This is their second album. They didn't have very much success. They recorded 2 albums and then they broke up, but they opened for the Pretenders and it's somebody else, but this is called Power Pop, I think, New Wave. It's on Virgin Records. It's got a nice shiny cover. For €5, I'm going to take a chance. Records in mint condition, albums in mint condition. So, Interview. Next up is Paul Brett. He is a guitarist. He played guitar for the Strawbs, I think. He didn't record with the Strawbs, but he played with a number of English bands. And then in 1975, I think, he switched to 12-string guitar. This is called Earth Birth, the first 12-string guitar suite. It's just guitar music. It's just there's no vocals on here. I love instrumental guitar music, so I had to pick this up. I haven't played it yet, but it's on RCA. It's on the orange label. Paul Brett. Next up, another blind buy. This is by somebody called Ronnie Astrom. He's either Swedish or Norwegian. I just bought it because I liked the cover. Looked like it might be a prog psych record. I don't think it is. I tried to find some information on this fellow. There were a couple of sites that had some articles about him, but they're in Swedish or Norwegian, so I couldn't find anything. It's on Sonnet Records. Anyways, it's lovely condition. Again, liner notes are all in Swedish. Nice Sonnet record label. Ronnie Astrom. So we'll see what that's about later. Next up is Paul Milnes. Paul Milnes is a singer-songwriter. This is his first record. I think he played piano for Alexis Corner and Al Stewart, I think, on some of their tours. This is a record recorded in 1975, I believe. It's a Dutch copy. Somebody must have liked him because they did a lot of photocopying of his lyrics, etc. It's on the Philips label. I'm a sucker for singer-songwriters you never really go wrong with a singer-songwriter, especially when you want to listen to something quiet, which I often do. And he does a version of Hey, That's No Way to Say Goodbye, Leonard Cohen's song. So right there, that's a good reason to pick this up. So Paul Milnes. Anybody knows anything about Paul Milnes? Just, hey, let me know in the comments, please. Julie Covington. Julie Covington. Sorry, I'm just trying to think of the title of the song that she was famous for. She did the first version of Don't Cry For Me, Argentina. She's basically a theater artist, but I found this all out after, did some research after I bought this, but I bought it because the basic band is Richard Thompson, Neil Larson, Willie Weeks, Andy Newmark. It's also got John Cale on here, Ray Cooper, Trevor Lucas, Simon Nickel, Chris Spedding, Russ Titleman, Steve Winwood. So with a lineup like that, I mean, can't be all bad. I think she went back into theater after this. She released a couple of records. And she didn't really have a lot of success, obviously, but here it is, her first record, Julie Covington, self-titled. Next up is a 1985 record by The Alarm. I think this is, I don't know if this is their second record or their third record. It's on IRS label, the IRS label. Needs a little bit of a bath. I've got the first Alarm record. I kind of like it. I've been trying to beef up my my 80s collection. 80 artists. So this is called Strength. Haven't listened to it yet. Haven't watched it yet, but I will. And it's weird. You're in Amsterdam and you're Canadian and you find a copy of a Canadian band there. This is a band called The Spoons. They're from Toronto. This was recorded in 1982. They were a pretty big deal, new wave band back in the day. Got a lot of coverage on Much Music, which was Canadian's version of MTV. This is called Arias and Symphonies. Brian at Embryonic Robot can tell me a little bit about this. If he can give me the thumbs up or the thumbs down on this, Brian, I'd appreciate it. Half of it was recorded at Air Studios in London, half of it was recorded in Toronto. So there you go, The Spoons. Next up, John David Souther, singer-songwriter again, that whole California scene. It's on Asylum Records. This is a 1976 recording, beautiful condition. I see this in North America a lot, but it's always beat up. It's always got tons of ring wear. I've got a John David Souther record already. This is my second. Singer-songwriter, California sound, Eagles, etc., etc. On Asylum, John David Souther. It's a record I don't think I've seen in North America before, but this is the special, aka. These are the specials after 3 of their members left. They went to form Fun Boy 3, and this is a pretty controversial record. I think it didn't meet the expectations that the first 2 records raised. I have the first 2 records. I'm happy to have this. This has got it's including the smash hit Nelson Mandela. Cover's a little bit crapped up, but the record is in fantastic shape, and it is on Charisma. It's got the original liner, of course, and it is on 2-tone records. There you go. The special, AKA, and the album is called In the Studio. It took 2 or 3 years to record this record. Anyways, there we go. Next Buddy Sandwich is Nick's Buddy Sandwich. Nick, you want to comment on that one? I know you've probably got lots to say about that one. Big Stephen Stills fan. Pick up Stephen Stills records whenever I see them. This is called Stephen Stills Live. This is, one side is electric, the other side is acoustic. The electric side has got Wooden Ships, 4 Days Gone, Jet Set, Rocky Mountain Way, and Special Care. So Stephen Stills, he's fantastic. He's a fantastic artist away from Crosby and Nash, because he doesn't have to go through all the fucking bullshit that he has to go through with those guys. So Stephen Stills, he gets to do what he wants without arguing. Next up, I'm a big Jerry Rafferty fan. This is Steelers Wheel. I have their first record, which I had Stuck in the Middle with You. I think this is their second record, called Right or Wrong. Jerry Rafferty's a fantastic songwriter. So is Egan, his writing partner. Nice liner sleeve here. This is in great condition. It's on your standard old A&M label, but in great condition. €5. I'm not going to let it go. The Byrds, I don't have enough Byrds records. I'm trying to beef up my Byrds collection. This is the Notorious Byrds Brothers, and the album is called Space Odyssey. This was recorded in 1968. After, I think, David Crosby was kicked out of the band, and they were having lots and lots of issues. They've always had lots of personnel issues. And I think that's kind of what held them back in the 70s, etc. But this is on the Cheapy Embassy label. In great condition. And lastly, this is an album by a guy called Peter Case. And I thought it was pretty intriguing because I liked the title. It's called The Man with the Blue Postmodern Fragmented Neo-Traditionalist Guitar. And it's on Geffen Records, and it's got some great session players on here. It's a little more, it's singer-songwriter for sure. But it wasn't until I got this record home that I realized where I had heard the name Peter Case before. I follow a guy called Otis Gibbs, and he's a musician from Indianapolis, singer-songwriter. And he does a little podcast, where he does a podcast every Saturday when he talks about what's going on in his life. And he's a really humble guy, great storyteller. But he also interviews lots of musicians in the Nashville area, Austin, etc. And I realized that I had just watched a Peter Case interview on Otis Gibbs about 2 weeks before, and he was fascinating. He had lots of great stories to tell. So really happy to have this. I've never seen a Peter Case record before. He used to be in the Plimsouls, and he used to hang around with Tom Petty back when Tom Petty was trying to record his first record at Shelter Records with Denny Cordell. So Peter Case, €5. And last but not least, my first ever VCLT. And I have gone, I don't know what's in this. I've slid I've slid the top so I can slide it out. And this is from my buddy Mike from MGK Boston. So thank you so much, Mike. I don't expect any VCLT, but I am so thrilled to get it. I don't know what it is, so let's see what he sent me. Oh man. Jefferson Starship, Blows Against the Empire. Thank you so much, Mike. Mike and I have very similar tastes in that they're very, very eclectic. I was afraid it's going to be a Burt Kaempfert record, but it is not. Blows Against the Empire, fantastic. I know this record, I just don't have it. So thank you so much, Mike, for that. All my best to Patty Cheesecake and your daughter, who is graduating and going into college this year. So get ready for a lot of big expenses, Mike. That's all I can tell you because I've been through it. Thank you so much. Thanks for everybody for watching and spending some time. This is a long video, so I am going to end it there. Always love comments. If you haven't subscribed and you think you'd like to, please go ahead. I've got some more records. Yes, I haven't shown all my records from my European trip, so next week I will show the remainder of those. So thanks for watching. See you next week. Bye-bye.